Welcome to Awakening Airwaves, Wisdom of the Elder podcast. I am Eflin Lyle, and I'm here with my co-host,
Ife
Ife
Tayo.
Tayo. How are you today, Ian?
I'm doing really well. Thank you. And I hope that my voice is going to be clear enough today. I have little pollen allergies. So I
Okay,
apologize
that
for,
time of year.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm so grateful to be here though with
yes.
you again.
I'm
Yes.
always excited for our conversations. So, everyone, thank you for being here with us. Our topic today is Reiki and healthy aging practices. Now, today's topic is for individuals of all ages
Yes.
because we are constantly growing older. And just because we may be centering some of our comments about elders, if you're fortunate enough, one day you'll become an elder, and this information can help you to start now building your lifestyle with Reiki to assist you in that process. So, we're going to be sharing how Reiki, which is a non invasive energy healing process, can help support and help us build healthy lifestyles for, especially with our aging process, and it can be one of the tools that you have in your toolbox. So, aging, of course, is a natural biological inevitability. So, it's something we have to accept and plan for. And definitely, you want to plan for it. So, we're going to have EI give us a statement of disclaimer.
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you. So, while both Ia Efalayo and myself have benefited greatly from with our consistent Reiki practice as self practices as we've aged. We are truly aware that that the benefits of Reiki will vary from person to person. And we just want to share that because of this awareness that the statements and the experiences that we share come from a place of high integrity and in knowing that there can be no guaranteed outcomes. So we just appreciate you receiving our experiences and how we have benefited from our Reiki practices as we age.
Thank you, EI. So I guess I want to start off by saying that I looked up some, statistics, and one of the things I found was that they say that genetics accounts for only 20 to 25% of how we age, and that the remaining 75 to 80% is determined by our lifestyle and our environment, our stress management, and of course, our diet. And to me, that is very powerful because no matter what things you may inherit, you still have the possibility of those things that may not be so positive in your family line for you to work with those things and overcome. And that's why this conversation is so important for those who may be young, and especially those of you have children. You can teach them early on some
Mhm.
healthy lifestyle things that could literally save their lives and save them a lot of suffering as they grow older. And so, even though the two of us as elders have used Reiki for many, many years, it's never too late to start. Even if
Yes.
you're in your 70s or 80s, it will still greatly benefit you to learn more about Reiki. If you choose not to learn Reiki for yourself in terms of instruction, you can always find a competent Reiki practitioner to assist
Absolutely.
you on your path.
Yes.
So, but I found that very powerful that 75 to 80% of it is in our hands in terms of how we are to change our lifestyles. One of the things I recognize too about the aging process is that for women, especially because of our menses, we are in tune with our bodies starting at an early age.
Yes.
And because of that monthly cycling, it gives us that opportunity to learn early how to listen to our body, how to read our body, and how to work with it. And even though you may have already gone through your menopause and you no longer have that cycling, hopefully you're still in touch with your body processes and can use that to help guide you as you continue to mature in your physicality. One of the things we talked about sharing with you is some of the views from a couple of different cultures around the world with regards to aging, and because some of them are quite dramatically different.
Yes.
So, cultural views on aging have a great influence on what we think about the aging and the aging process and how it impacts us as individuals because it's what we learn from our elders. It's what we witness as we're growing up and the things that are shown to us and displayed throughout our culture. So, Reiki as a practice that came out of Japan, the way we practice it nowadays, I wanted to share what I found there just briefly. In the Japanese culture, most of us are aware that they actually practice ancestor veneration and elders are integrated fully into the culture and actively participate. And so they find reasons for being, and their elders are in a high position and they're highly respected and revered, and they're celebrated. And so they're seen as a valuable part of the community.
Yes.
And the transition from youth into later stages of life is celebrated and looked forward to in the Japanese culture. And I find that really encouraging and fascinating.
Yes. I'd like to add one of the pieces that I became aware of with the Japanese culture is that many areas in Japan are noted for longevity of the population and the reasons of back to healthy lifestyle. The folks who live in these particular zones um, continue to be active, continue to walk, to garden, to participate with their younger family members in these activities and others. They often don't sit on chairs, so they squat a lot. Therefore, the flexibility in their bodies, and of course, they hold a high spiritual practices. Most of them honor the deities and the spiritual practices of their ancestors. So I just wanted to add that as a piece of Japanese aging culture. Yeah.
So the next one we chose was African, and we know that Africa is a continent with 54 different countries, but in sense of an African understanding, we're talking about that most African cultures traditionally also practice ancestor veneration, which is after the elder has passed or whatever age person has passed, they honor the memory and the contributions of those people. So they honor them as they live and in the living process and then continue after death. And elders are looked to for their wisdom and for their leadership, and they're regarded as active parts of the community no matter what their age is, and they are serve as the moral compass for what's going on. In other words, the younger people look to the elders for what should be going on, what
Yep.
could be happening, and just helping them to navigate aspects of life that they have yet to experience. And so, one term I found that I really like was they're considered to be living libraries. I love
Yes.
that concept, and that aging brings increased societal power and responsibility. So they're not relegated to go sit in a rocking chair. They're a very valued part of the continuing of the
Yes.
society.
Absolutely. And I love, as we know, the storytelling element in African culture. The elders hold that place to share the stories of the ancestors of of the villages or the cities of where they live, which also to me is a place of honor to have the memories and to be able to share those stories for the upliftment and well-being of our families. So that I really appreciate that piece of African elderhood um,
Absolutely.
myself. Yeah.
So now we'll turn to the American culture. And in America, we're taught to be fiercely independent, and the culture is youth centered. It's all about looking younger than you are, acting younger than you are, dressing younger than you are. And so, with this hyper independence, aging is viewed sometimes as a defect, as well as there's a great movement for anti aging everything. However, there are subcultures that are beginning to change that, that have always been there, but it's growing to where we're looking more to eldership as being something that is honored, something that is appreciated and cultivated as becoming a more of a part of a community. And as a baby boomer, I would like to say I believe that has a lot to do with the baby boomer generation bringing that about because we're one of the first generations who is living as long as we have in whole. Not that
Yes.
people haven't always lived until a certain age, but in the baby boomers, those born in the 40s and later seem to be more active, living well after, and being still an active part of the community, still working if you choose to, and being very active in your later years. So, fortunately, for those of us who are Americans, that is beginning to change here. So, what that brings me to is that understanding that aging is not a process that you look to dread.
Yeah.
That it's something that you makes you feel like you have to be declining,
Yes.
but it's a process that is allowing you to add to your life new ways of thinking, new ways of being, new
Mm.
ways of understanding and expanding what it is that you bring to the community as well as what you can receive
Yes.
from the community. So there are positive affects um, of aging, very
Yes.
positive that we need to focus on more than the negative
Absolutely. Yeah.
of
And
it.
I believe that those aspects that you shared earlier, from the Asian and African cultures, we can learn a lot in this culture from those folks in how to honor um, elders, how to respect elders, how to hold what is the role of an elder that can bring um expansion and enlightenment and um wisdom to our families and to our community, and also the practices of of well-beingness, of staying well as we continue to be active and active participants in community and family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think one of the most important things at whatever age you find yourself, if you're listening to this conversation, is that do an assessment of where you believe you are in terms of how healthy is your lifestyle. And so whether you're in your 20s, your 40s, your
Mhm.
70s, or 80s, where are you now? And if
Yes.
that's good, great. But if it's
Yes.
not as good as it might be, you can
Yeah.
always enhance that to have
Yes.
a better lifestyle, a better opportunity. And even if you have some infirmities and things of that nature, there are always ways to be able to enhance your lifestyle, whether it's through Reiki or some other means, being more active. Because one of the studies I ran across was saying that they're finding that older adults are naturally focusing more on health than in the past, rather than just giving up when things start to decline and feeling like there's nothing. And you see now in the news as well as in social media and in literature where more and more people are focusing on things to get out and live your life. It's not
Mhm.
life is not over at 65 or
Yes.
75 and
Yes.
older. So we are seeing displayed in different aspects of our culture older people being active as opposed to walking, slow and bent over and sitting in a rocking chair, relegated to the back room, and those kind of things that were more prevalent in a time past. So I think that gives a lot of credence to where we are, and while we can always look to change. So psychologically, that is helping us to be a little more optimistic about
Yeah.
how we age. And because now we have opportunities where we have doctors that specialize in geriatrics, psychologists and social workers, and people who can help us find different tools that we can use to help us age better. It gives us a lot of hope for that aging process. So, one of the things that I find as an elder now that is exciting is when I look back and think about how my elders used to dress when I was younger and the way we dress now.
Yes.
Would say to about especially with older women, like they're trying to dress young or whatever. Now you can wear whatever you want. Not that
Yes.
you couldn't always, but it's more socially acceptable for you to dress the way you feel. And if you feel youthful and you want to dress more youthful, you can do that and you don't have people making such comments. Because I remember those days. I do remember that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I also remember those, and I'm really grateful for the expansion in that direction where I can remember my elder family members tended to go to the dark colors, to black and navy blue,
Yes.
and actually now we can celebrate ourselves and our own light by and expressing through our clothing and through our adornments and through our hair and through our nails, all the ways. So I'm really grateful for that shift. I'm also what you shared, what came to mind was the attitude that many of my family members had, and a lot of folks that I knew, being from DC, a lot of my community worked in the government, federal government and DC government. And I can remember so many people waiting for the day to retire. And for at that time, the day to retire meant now I can just do nothing. Now I can just sit back, watch TV, drink my beer, whatever. Um, and that has shifted. That consciousness has also shifted
Yeah.
um, in the communities that I'm familiar with, where even if one is retiring and waiting for the day to retire, generally they have something else in mind that they want to do, something that is really they've been pondering for a while. This is how I want to serve now. This is what I want to do now. I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to experience different cultures. I want to, share what I've learned in communities that are underserved or where I can uplift or bring. There's just and it's
So
exciting.
different. Yes.
It's so exciting. Yes.
Yeah. I myself retired early. I retired at 55 and I started a
Yes.
whole new career. Yeah.
Yes.
And I had worked for many, many years in the same sector. But I looked forward to retirement, not to, like you say, to just do nothing or do whatever I wanted in the sense of nothingness, but in terms
Yes.
of, okay, so how now do I want to show up in the world? So I
Yes.
started a whole new career, which I know for me on a psychological and emotional level helps me to be a more overall active part of community and
Yes.
society because I'm using my gifts and talents still but in a different way, in a more of a way that, not that I didn't choose my career, but in a different way that I could see myself, if that
Yes.
makes sense.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that brings me to the topic of one of my favorite topics is freedom of authenticity. With
Yes.
age comes a dramatic decline in social anxiety, peer pressure,
Yes.
judgment from the outside. It's a sense of freedom that, I've earned the right and have enough life experience to know that I can choose whatever I want to choose.
Exactly.
And I just have to say that for me, I don't, in that my inner self, I don't feel my age, whatever that's
Mhm.
supposed to feel like. I just
Mhm.
feel like me, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like I can just be more of myself because I've learned more of who I am over the years. I know my likes and dislikes, the things that feed my spirit, the things that don't. And I know how to make choices based on who I am as opposed to what society is trying to tell me or other
Mhm.
people, are trying to tell me. And so that freedom to be more authentic, that connection with not worrying about what other people are going to say. Already been there,
Yes.
done that. And
Right.
people are going to say what they're going to say. It gives you a sense of that freedom without, because you're not looking for external validation to the same
Yes.
degree. Not that you don't still have that, but to the same degree for approval from the outside. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I totally am with you on the freedom um and authenticity. There is, for me, the journey into elderhood, because of so many experiences leading, day by day, year by year, leading to this point, then I'm pretty clear on how I want to serve. And so, in my clarity, and having had experiences that support and hold me up and providing good service, I can say that, then I don't, I'm free to express that in any way that comes to my spirit to express it, because I've experienced so many of the different ways of how and how not to serve in these whatever capacities, and in my life. I really, like you, I just never think about someone else's opinion or needing someone else's um approval. It never dawns on me. And I think with both of us, I'm going to say this, and correct me if we we have moved into leadership roles in our community, in our respective communities, and with the folks who we teach and we practice with. So in moving that way, moving into leadership position, then our authenticity, I believe, is pretty obvious, or else we would not have been supported in this movement. People trust us. And I'm speaking for us. I'm speaking that way because I know you that well. But I know that there is that, the level of trust and the level of acknowledgement of the experience and the wisdom that we've garnered through this time. So I I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for this time of my life and for this freedom and this time for me to walk in my authenticity. I don't have to make excuses for any part of my life that I'm expressing or not expressing, because I know that, number one, I've tuned in to receive the guidance. I just always do. So I'm not just saying yes or no randomly based on something that I've made up. So my authenticity, my truth, my realism is present, and so there's just nothing else to worry about. There's nothing else. So freedom is absolutely a joy. It's a joy
Yeah.
at this stage. Yeah.
I really like the way you put that. And it also lends itself to that life experience,
Yes.
because that grounding in your life experiences and appreciating life experience, the ups,
Yeah.
the downs, and all of that, because it's all
Yes.
part of it. It gives you that sense of knowing what's the best way for you to move in the world. And once you know that, and you can only know that through the experience, what works
Yes.
best for you, then that gives you that sense of freedom. I already know what I can and cannot do, what
Yes.
will and will not work for me. And so
Right.
act like it doesn't already exist for you. You've had enough bumps on the head and enough
Yes.
knees from falling down and figuring
Yes.
out how to get back up, because there's an old saying that I remember hearing from my elders that says you don't get old being a fool, because you will figure it out or you will be taken out. You
Yes.
know? And I think about, because when I was younger, I didn't understand what that meant, you
Yeah.
know. Now, I'm not saying there aren't old fools. I'm not saying,
Right.
but
Yeah.
most people are, when you, as you get older, you're choosing what you're choosing based on your experience, but it does give you a sense of freedom of knowing yourself if you choose to look at the truth of what that is for you
Yes.
as you move forward. Another thing I appreciate about aging, and being at the stage where I am, is that freedom to not worry as much about certain things. And I want to be
Mhm.
very clear.
Mhm.
It's not that you don't have worries and concerns, but
Mhm.
certain things you've had enough experience with that you don't worry about that anymore. You know,
Yes.
there are other things to be concerned about.
Yes.
So you can put those things in their places. And then there's a sense of spiritual maturity for
Mhm.
that life experience of who you believe you are in the realm of spirituality, whatever your spiritual systems are. And so, whatever your perspective is on that, you've lived with that choice long enough or made enough choices to figure out what works for you. And that gives you a sense of grounding, whether it's about what life is about or what death is and what's dying and all of those things, that you get to a place, everybody comes to a place where they connect with what they believe their life was meant for, about, and that kind of thing. So I do know elders who are concerned about dying, but at the same time, I don't see that as much as I used to. People worried about, oh my gosh, the dying
Mhm.
process. But everybody has to come to grips with it, because when you get in your 70s and 80s, most of your friends are gone, you know?
Right.
Uh,
Yes.
and if they're not, you hear more deaths in your age group every single
Mhm.
day, week, month. And so
Mhm.
it's very present with you. And your spirituality is one of those things that's going to help you to cope with the fact that you know you didn't come here to live forever. So sooner or later, you're going to pass on. So you have to have dealt with that on some degree, by a certain age and
Yes.
as you go forward. And that too feeds into, what kind of lifestyle you live, whether you live
Exactly.
in fear of death
Yes.
or whether you just live your life knowing that it's going to happen. Why worry about it? You know,
Yes. I
prepare
think
for it in all the ways that you can, you know.
to to contribute to this part of the conversation, my what I feel is that this is our time to come to peace, to come to terms, come to peace with what has transpired in our lives. If the from to be prepared for death, there's a certain level of peace about what has happened in my life, that I was responsible for, and that others were responsible for. Therefore, forgivenesses, compassion for the mistakes that I've made and the mistakes of others. Um, we are no longer, some of us, some of us are working part-time even at this stage of life, but we're not going to jobs necessarily. Some may be, but the time that we have now, and the ways that we use our energies, um, in this theme and the spiritual maturity theme, knowing that we're on the other side of midlife. And so, the unknown of the day of our transition and crossing over in death, we don't know. So I just love the feeling of, um, it is now time for me to really come to peace, be at peace. What is still lingering, in my life experiences, in my heart, in my spirit, that I have not come to peace with. And through our spiritual practices, this is one of the, end results is, to live a more peaceful life, to, be able to, experience more peace in our relationships and, in our own selves and, in life. So thank you for bringing this forward, particularly about the imminence of death, and the recognizing that death is more imminent now, than it had been, a couple of decades or so ago.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
think too, one of the things I've learned and always having had elders in my life is that by coming to grips with the inevitability of it and facing that fact,
Mhm.
then you live your life in a different way in
Yes.
terms of, like you said, with compassion and all those things, but also in terms of forgiving yourself and
Mhm.
looking at your regrets and letting go of that
Yes.
as opposed to carrying it forward and just, recognizing that it happened. I lived through it. I learned from it.
Yes.
Whether what it is I need to do differently or what I choose no longer to do and things of that nature, it adds to your understanding of what your life is, you
Yes.
know. And so
Yes.
life is for living and not regretting. And so even as we live in our older years and we still make mistakes and we still have, issues and whatever, it's you don't necessarily take it to heart to the same way,
Mhm.
because you realize I need to deal with this and face this now, at least for my perspective, because I don't have as much time as I did, and I
Yes.
choose not to carry this,
Yes.
any further. I need to deal with whatever it is. I have a very dear friend whose mother lived to 105. And when I would speak to her, she would always make a statement and say, like, I don't know why I'm still here. All of my friends are gone. I said, you're still here because you still have things to do. And especially you still have things to teach me, you know?
Yes.
And she was a powerful, powerful teacher for me in that even though she had her illnesses and she had her challenges and she did not have an easy life or anything like that, she never stopped moving forward. And so even into her later years, she laughed and she had fun and she wanted to go places and do things. And it was a joy to see someone living to that age and still wanting to go out and enjoy life,
Yes.
around people and meet people and wonder, why am I still here?
Yes.
You know? So you never get it taught me that you never get to the place where you don't have a purpose,
Right.
and you're
Yes.
still not trying to figure out why I came, what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And so when you mentioned earlier about that, uh, we have responsibilities, people trust us. to me as I've gotten older, I realize, oh wow, people are looking to me for some answers, or people are looking to me to help them understand. And in the beginning of recognizing I was moving into that place, it was like, I don't know what to tell them, but at the same time, my life is telling them already, you know,
Yes.
how I've lived. And so if people are coming to me for support or understanding or recommendations and things like that, it 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 behooves me to think about my own life experiences and be able to give them some understanding of what they might choose to do. And when we talked earlier about the different cultures and how they view elders, that's what we're here for as elders.
Yes.
That's what we're
Yes.
here for. I my early years, I lived in a multi-generational family, and I remember how they relied on one another, and so and currently I live in a multi-generational home,
Yes.
and I see myself in that place, and some days I'm like, "Wow, am I really that?" Because like I said, I don't feel like I'm an old person even though
Right.
I am an old person, and that's not a bad thing,
Yes.
but it does come like with any stage in life, it comes with responsibilities. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. So I'd like to move us into the next part of this conversation, how Reiki can help us. As the title of this talk is about Reiki and a healthy lifestyle. So, what can you share with us that you use Reiki in?
Yeah, there's so much to share. Both the benefits of Reiki practice and also my own personal daily Reiki practice, which I without a doubt believe has sustained me in aging. I don't have a family that has where anyone has really lived a long life. I'm probably have lived longer than most in my origin, but my family of origin, and and I've been practicing Reiki for 35 years as a practitioner. So therefore, I've seen clients almost every day, at least every week, and really almost every day since that time. So if but for myself, I do have a self Reiki practice of daily hands-on Reiki for myself, and also I'm very devoted to the Reiki precepts and reciting them and not just reciting, but joining with the energy of the precepts and how they instruct us and how they instructed me. Also, I practice specific Reiki meditations that came from the Reiki tradition that are really enjoying the breath in different ways of meditation. So all of those are that's my basic Reiki practice. And as I said, it's been ongoing for decades. And I do believe that this practice has really contributed, and I'm going to say mainly, to cellular regeneration. That for me, I don't, that's the bottom line of all of the Reiki benefits, as far as I'm concerned, and even mental and emotional, because they are so connected. Those ways our mental bodies, our emotional bodies are so connected to our physical bodies. So I really, even if I'm not targeting one specific area of myself, um, be it physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, I know that whatever I need from Reiki will will come to pass and will take place, and the balance will take place through the cellular regeneration. So I'm going to Well, I will make just one example, short, brief, that at in my 30s and 40s, I had clinical diagnosis of depression and anxiety, and which that had since I became Reiki at age 50, and I'm 81 now, then whatever the expressions of those diagnoses are no longer with me at all. I don't have, so I don't, I contribute that again to my Reiki practice in the balancing of what I need balancing, and through either the hands-on daily practice or the precepts, aligning with the energy of the precepts, and also my meditation practices. So I will just not take up the whole more hour to talk about this piece.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great, and I feel the same. My self Reiki that I do I don't get out of bed without my Reiki because I know myself well enough to know that once I get up and start moving around and you get
Yes.
all that. So I wake up, I do my Reiki, but I also go to sleep with Reiki. And one of the things that helped me as far as going to sleep with Reiki is that I went through a long period of time when I had a lot of challenges sleeping. And I found that once I started practicing Reiki, that if I did my Reiki as I would go to sleep, it
Yes.
really helped tremendously with that challenge.
Yes.
And I also, in terms of health challenges that I've had over the years, know for a fact that Reiki has helped me with those challenges to not only balance out my energy flow, but to enhance my immune system,
Yes.
um, and to be able to stabilize a lot of emotional challenges that I've had. And so I know for a fact that those things have helped to sustain me. And in general, we know that Reiki can reduce inflammation and pain.
Yes.
And so by using it regularly, you can
Yes.
provide any aspect of that. So even though I'm fortunate that I don't suffer with regular pains of any kind, when I do have some pain, whether it's from injuring myself or just living life, I know it's less because I'm doing my Reiki every day.
Yes.
We know that Reiki helps to lower our stress by helping our parasympathetic nervous system to be more calm and regulated. So, if those of us who may have challenges with depression and different other things, it will help with that. It, as you mentioned, cellular rejuvenation, that's the whole thing of aging in the first place. And so, by practicing regular Reiki, you're already helping yourself, helping your body removing blockages in the energy field.
Yes.
Cells can receive the chi energy that they need to thrive, and just helping us in terms of how we talked about we go through life challenges of the mistakes, the regrets, and all of those kind of things that we experience. Hold on one thing, my computer is flicking. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. I saw it flicker. Um, we know that we go through challenges with loss in life. We go through dealing with grief. We have our emotional ups and downs. That's part of being human. And Reiki can help us regulate all of those types of things. But I also am a firm believer that consistency with anything that we do is the best way. And when I say consistency, it's not being fanatical. We're not talking about, oh my God, I got to do my Reiki. But I want to do my Reiki because I know through times when maybe I didn't get around to doing my Reiki for whatever reason, that things didn't flow for me as best they could that day. So that's what made me to like, oh, just do your Reiki before you even get up. You
Yes.
know? then you have that assurance of that you have that part covered because we're energetic beings and that Reiki life force energy is part of what sustains us. And so go ahead and give yourself that boost
Yeah.
of Reiki before you even begin. And so I looked up a few little some suggestions. And then I believe you have a meditation for us, right? Yeah. So, a couple of things would be so this is for those of you who are maybe current Reiki practitioners, or maybe you've been planning to take Reiki, or if you are someone who receives Reiki from a practitioner. So, some of sample protocols that can help in the aging process, but not just aging, but that's what this conversation is focused on, is like working with the root chakra to help enhance feelings of stability and physical security and bone health. That is so important as we
Mm.
age. So
Yes.
to work with our heart and thymus for emotional resilience and for just placing your hands anywhere you want on your body because Reiki energy is divine intelligence. It
Yes.
knows where to go. So
Yes.
maybe mentioning places on the body. You don't have to learn all of that. You don't have to know all of that. The fact is that, Reiki energy knows where to go. So if you are having some noticing some cognitive decline, maybe some memory challenges or things of that nature, focusing your healing energy, or if it's for a client, your Reiki clients, that your third eye and crown will help tremendously with that aspect. I already mentioned Reiki for sleep, and what I do for my Reiki for sleep is I'm a side sleeper, so I put one hand on my chest and one on my belly,
Yes.
and I go to sleep with my hands there. I say the
Yes.
Reiki prayer. I start the energy to flow. Next thing I know, it's morning. So I know it has helped me to sleep. For the solar plexus and spine and our digestive health, Reiki can be a tremendous help in terms of that because sometimes as we age, our digestive rhythms are off when they have some time where we have disturbances in that aspect of our body. Our knees and our ankles and our feet, because we use them continuously and they work so hard for us, it's very important to have some focus in those areas to help us with our mobility so that we can prevent, accidents and other limitations that come in that part of the body. And one thing I would like to say there, if you are a Reiki practitioner and you're doing your self Reiki and you find that you can't reach or touch certain parts of the body, you can just in your mind send the energy where you want it to focus. You
Yes.
can take your hands and beam the Reiki, and with
Yes.
and it will go to those areas. So it's not about I can't reach my knees or I can't reach my ankles. No, there's no limitation. The energy will go wherever your intention directs it to go. And if you're a Reiki practitioner, those areas on all of us, especially those of us in advanced years, are very important to treat when you are offering Reiki healings. Also, um, just a word of advice in general, going back a second, don't worry about hand positions so much as your intention of where you want the Reiki to flow. And the soles of our feet, many of us can't reach the soles of our feet. Again, focus there because you need that grounding and that stability, and use your visualization abilities, to help you send the Reiki where you want it to go. If you are a Reiki level 2 and you have your symbols, use those symbols, visualize them. One of the things that you could do in terms of especially working with your mobility aspect is get a large piece of paper or a piece of cloth and get yourself a big fat marker and draw the chokorei or the seiki on that paper, put it on the floor and put your feet on it as you're doing your Reiki, and chant the symbols, chant the precepts. And those things are always, we can't get stuck in, oh, I can only do Reiki with my hands this way or that way. Absolutely not. Those are guidelines for us to use as we're using our Reiki. But there are so many ways that Reiki lives in us and moves in us. So don't limit yourself. I always tell my students, only your lack of imagination will
Mhm.
prevent you from using your Reiki the way it wants to be used in your life. So incorporate whatever works for you. Don't say, oh, well, I don't know if I can do that. You're not going to do it wrong. You can't do it wrong. Reiki is divine, and Reiki knows what you need, and it's going to always be there for you to access. And so, one of the things I was so excited when we came up with this topic to share with you today is that also, if you've ever thought about learning Reiki, I don't care what your age is, it's never too late to learn.
Yes.
And Reiki is very easy to learn.
Yeah.
You don't have to learn any anatomy and physiology. You don't even have to learn all about chakras and auras or any of that. What you learn in your beginning Reiki is the principles of energy healing and what it can do for us and how it can help us. And yes, you do learn hand positions so that you have a system to work from and a protocol to work from that'll help assist you as you learn how to feel and channel and work with that energy. But there's nothing in Reiki that you cannot. Little children are taught Reiki. I teach children Reiki. So you can learn Reiki. I don't care what your age is. So if you choose to allow Reiki to assist you, you can become a Reiki practitioner, get your certification, get your attunement, which is a powerful thing for you to do for yourself, and or find yourself a Reiki practitioner that will assist you in using your Reiki on a regular basis with treatments, however you choose to. But at the end of the day, it's all about knowing that Reiki will blend with and support whatever you're doing in your life. So if you already have, say, maybe you practice yoga or Tai Chi, or you're a walker or a runner, Reiki can fit into all of that. And one of the ways would be for you to start your Reiki before you begin those activities and focus on how it's enhancing your practice of whatever that is. Maybe you do, what is it, the dance exercise, um, Zumba, or anything like that. Your Reiki is only going to enhance the energy of that to help sustain you and to bring about that cellular regeneration and whatever else that you need.
Oh, lovely. Awesome. What benefits? The beauty and the simplicity of Reiki and all the ways that it serves us. I'm grateful, just grateful. Thank you. So I will, if it is, if this is a good time, share a really brief Reiki meditation. And it won't, I think 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes is really what we need for this moment as a demonstrating practice. So once you have listened to this recording and you get the flow of this meditation, then I'm inviting everyone to practice it whenever you need it. Uh, I love this particular meditation. The Japanese name is Joshin Kokyoho. And for me, this meditation is simply a way of breathing Reiki into myself and breathing Reiki through myself. And therefore, my eyes can be open. I can be driving. It doesn't matter. It's the intention and the breath that is so powerful with this meditation. So, as Ia had said earlier, intention is really key. And when we can surrender our control, our need to know, when we set the intention for Reiki to work, it works. When we set the intention to receive Reiki or to share Reiki, that is what is happening. So in this meditation, we set an intention before we began that we are now breathing in Reiki. And if you're not a Reiki practitioner, you're breathing in the healing and life force energy of the universe. So the invitation is to close your eyes if you wish, or as I said earlier, you can keep your eyes open and take 1 second to set an intention that I will breathe in all of the Reiki that I need in this moment, or I will breathe in all of the healing life force energy of the universe that I need in this moment. You can place your hands either on your knee, on your lap, on your thighs, or you can place your hands over your womb space, your hara, lower dantian. There's no right or wrong. Place your hands wherever you're comfortable. And once we've set our intention, we're going to breathe in through our nose and breathe that breath all the way down to the pit of your belly, all the way down into your sacral area, into your womb space area. Hold the breath for a second or less. And exhale that breath slowly throughout your body so that you're not just blowing out the breath through your mouth. You are exhaling this Reiki energy, feeding and bathing every cell in your body before it passes through your skin out into the environment. So I'll give that instruction one more time, and then for 1 minute, we'll practice at our own pace. I breathe in Reiki energy through my nose, and I breathe that energy all the way down into the pit of my belly, into my hara, to my womb space. I hold that beautiful Reiki breath in my womb space. Then I exhale slowly, Reiki energy through my body, bathing, healing, nourishing every cell in my body before it passes through my skin into my environment. So just for 1 minute, practice this beautiful Reiki breath meditation. And I'll let you know when that minute is complete. Expand our bellies as we fill ourselves up with Reiki energy, and contract as we slowly release Reiki through our bodies. Contract our bellies all the way back to our spine. And whenever you feel ready, slowly and gently open your eyes and return to the presence of this calm. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ia.
Thank you.
Thank you for this conversation today. Thank you all who have joined us. You can look forward to Ia holding the space for the wisdom of the elders at the end of next month, and I'll join her again next quarter, and look forward to our time together. Thank you.
And tell us how people can get in hold of you, if they want to follow your work.
Thank you.
Can you give your contact information, your website?
Oh, yes. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. Yes. You can find me. My website is Ife Tile White, my full name, .co. not .com, but .co. So find me on my website. I'm really active on Facebook. You can find me there. And if you have any thoughts or questions, my email is Neesamoon, NEESAMOON @gmail.com, which you'll also find on my website. Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
And
Yeah.
if you'd like to reach out to me, my name, EFUNLAYO, and my website is efunlayo.com. And we both teach Reiki and other aspects. So we look forward to interacting with you. And thank you for joining us today. We hope this has been a helpful thing.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Awakening
Yes.
Airwaves.
Wisdom of the elders.